Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for Pretty Little Liars, Season 5, Episode 20. Pretty isn't the point. I'm your host, Dom. With me, my lovely co-host, Heather.
Hey.
How's it going?
It is going. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. So, this was an episode.
I love it.
I am blown away.
What they have done with this entire season has been amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it started off extremely weird. Like, going back to, like, look where the season started, it feels like forever ago.
It does. It does.
It was about 9 months ago, I want to say. Just because they do these seasons weird. Compared to other shows, anyway. But, yeah, the first episode we dealt with was that, like, really weird one with, like, thousands of A's running through the park.
Yeah.
It's like, you look to the journey they've come along to now, and us not having a Halloween episode, having a Christmas episode. It's just like, I can't believe everything that's happened this season. It's been insane.
I know. It's been it's been a great season.
It has.
Like, there has been, usually at this time in the season, we sit here and we're, like, bored.
Yeah. And then it's like the last episode comes out of nowhere and gives us this big, like, oh my god, and it's like, we can't wait for the 2 or 3 months that they're on break for, to come back to the next season. And it's just like, normally this is the lull in the series.
Yeah. So. And we haven't really I think we've had 2 or 3 fillers since they've come back from their break this half.
Yeah, the Christmas being one of them.
Yeah, and I mean, and last week was kind of slow, not really a whole lot going on, but it still had a good chunk of stuff.
It set up a lot of the events that happened here, though, so I don't really know if you can say it was filler, so to speak, because it was kind of like a layup to this episode.
It was. It really was. Like, they've done amazing this season. They really have.
So the girls, they were very suspicious of Mike after his blood drive incident last episode. So the episode kind of starts out with them pretty much tearing the room apart, and they don't exactly seem to be discreet about it either. They're literally just going through everything.
Right.
And they find a Morse code necklace in Mike's gym bag. Yep. I've never even heard of these things. Have you ever heard of a Morse code necklace?
Looked them up after the episode.
Yeah.
I looked them up after the episode, and they are a legit thing. You can get them. There's a company who makes them. There's a couple people on Etsy who sell them.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get them, and they actually say things.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, if you were to get one of these necklaces, what would you have it say?
I hate Dom.
What a coincidence. That's what mine would say too. No. Yeah, wow. I don't. That's mean. Mine would say I am A.
I am A. Yeah.
Yes. What did the necklace say?
It said, "I'm with you." So
they thought that this necklace was a gift for Allison. That's what they were suspecting this whole episode. Is that what you were thinking, or did you have another theory?
No, I really, I've not thought Mike had anything to do with the A or the Allison thing for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
I said it last week too. I said on air that it really feels like they're using this Mike thing as kind of a distraction point for what's really going on.
Yeah.
And I mean, and they cleared that up this week. That was exactly what it was. Mike, I always thought that there was something more was going on with Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like the whole Ezra thing from last season all over again. They're kind of repeating it. It's like they're making Mike, and like they did with Ezra, very suspicious. and putting him in a role that you think is impossible for him to not be what they say he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go and flip the script on you completely. And you're just like sitting there, oh
Right.
my God, like I never saw that
Yeah.
coming. Like Ezra writing a book, we never suspected that. I was like, no, he's not A. There's something. He's not A, but there's something. I knew it from the start. I was kind of the same with Mike here. So
Yeah.
just couldn't quite figure out. But we'll get into that. That's the big kind of twist. So we'll save that for the end.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then we had Talia, Emily, you know, a whole lot of stuff going on with them this episode. Talia is getting all buddy-buddy with Emily's mother over the phone, discussing recipes and saying how much they have in common outside of just each other, and you know, she's getting she's a little forward, don't you think? You there?
Yes, I think she's extremely forward.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't even know. There's just, it seemed like something was off with her from the very beginning. And even more so now. We had,
Yeah.
we had her husband come in. Right? Eric, that's Talia's husband's name?
Yeah.
Yeah. He comes in and calls Emily a fling, and it's like all this stuff he knows about her, but by the end of the day, he's going to stand by her because he knows he's always going to be there for her, and it's kind of this, Talia's been lying to everybody.
You know what I found kind of weird?
What?
It was when Eric walked in and didn't know that Talia was at a catering gig.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, I noticed that right off the bat. I was like, that seems a little weird.
It was really
It's
weird.
almost
very
like he
off.
intentionally went there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he should have known. He didn't go, oh, yeah, I remember her saying that now. I'm an airhead,
Yeah.
you know, something along those lines. So
Yeah.
it almost seems like he purposefully went there just to meet Emily.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. We also had Mike come into the coffee shop. You know, it wasn't just Eric, but Mike came in, ordered 2 coffees. Right, who was the second coffee for? Did we ever find that out?
He still had both coffees when he got back to the house.
Yeah, he went back home, and Arya and Andrew are sitting there, still studying. You could see Arya's all over the place. Her thoughts. She couldn't even find the pencil that's sitting in her hair. And then she asked Andrew to follow Mike for her because obviously it'd be too suspicious if Mike did it or if Arya did it. And he's like, yeah, I'll do it for you. And then that's when Mike comes out of the bedroom, starts flipping out. I mean, do you blame Mike for flipping out at that point?
No, I mean, if I had a brother or sister going through my shit, I would be pretty pissed off too.
Yeah. I was doing laundry. I don't keep underwear in my desk drawer, you know?
Yeah. I mean, again, like you said, the girls weren't being very careful about what they were doing.
No, they were just literally throwing things over like these opening drawers, mush, just like rummaging through. And like, if you're gonna be sneaky about something, like just like pick it up and oh no,
Be sneaky.
put it right back exactly where you found it. You know, be super sneaky about it. But I don't know. So then Emily, she's got some mixed feelings with Talia. So she goes to talk to Hannah's mother. Right? And then all of a sudden you see Mrs. Mayron, she's getting like super defensive. Are we talking about me or are we talking about you?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that.
she definitely was not okay with that at first.
Yeah, that was really funny. Do you think she knew? What do you think she thought that Emily knew?
I think she thought Emily knew that Hannah slipped up and told one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or that it was getting around town now that she's a... bit of a sleut.
And I'm surprised A hasn't latched onto this yet. This seems like something A would use as blackmail. And
Right? But Ashley came clean about it.
that's true too. But still plastering it all over town
Yeah.
would hurt the pastor's reputation and would make him indefinitely decide no.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the last we left
still haven't heard what...
Huh? What'd you say?
I still haven't heard what decision is on the whole thing.
Yeah, so the last we heard,
We still haven't heard
he
what
was gonna
Ted's
make
decision was on the whole thing.
Yeah, the last we heard he was going to make a decision, hasn't. But now if word gets around and it starts being, oh yeah, Miss Mayron, she slept around and Pastor Ted is still going for it, that's going to hurt his reputation as a pastor. You know, so that's a lot that he's got to deal with himself.
Right.
So that would kind of push him in the no direction. But I have a feeling they're still going to end up together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know in the long run, but at least I don't think this is what's going to break them up.
Right.
Is probably better. We had Johnny and Spencer, and they were sitting outside talking. And Toby shows up. And Toby and Johnny kind of get in this little spat. You know, was it Johnny started speaking Italian to Toby right as he was leaving, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden Toby like flipped out.
Said something. I don't know what they said.
Yeah,
I should have looked up and seen what he said, but I have no idea what Johnny said.
there's some phrase in Italian, and does Toby understand Italian? Does he know Italian? Because if Johnny said something offensive and then Toby understood what he said, then Toby's completely justified for all his actions this episode.
Right, right.
But if he didn't say anything mean, and Toby's just overreacting, then Toby looks like a dick. But what was the hashtag going around for Toby? Hashtag good cop, bad boyfriend or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, because when when Spencer and Johnny are walking back from the coffee shop, where were they? They were at Hollis?
Yes.
Yeah. So when they were walking back from there, they looked up and they saw the graffiti in an art gallery. And the seller is saying he saved it from Hollis, and he's selling it, and he sold pieces already. So Johnny decides...
Sold one piece. He sold Corner Rabbit.
Corner Rabbit. Yeah.
And that happens to be the one that Spencer helped on.
Yeah. They said someone saved it from the trash and brought it to him. Do you think that was A?
I don't know. Like, it's really... It's just really, really hard because, again, it's like one of those things, you know, A doesn't do anything without reason, and that doesn't have a solid reason.
Sure it does. Look what happened. It tore Toby and Spencer apart.
On a whim?
You think it's a whim, but if this was A's plan, it was very cold and calculated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know A to be extremely calculated. We know that there is already some tension between Toby and Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that tension's kind of been there very subtly. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but Toby's practically all but ignored Johnny every time they've interacted. Like, Toby just doesn't acknowledge him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been super, like, yeah, you don't exist, but I'll say hi and I'll say goodbye, you know, and not even that all the time. And Johnny kind of lays in the background. He doesn't want to get anywhere near Toby. Like, he doesn't go out of his way to say anything to Toby. Until this episode, anyway. But, you know, in the meantime,
right.
they stole the artwork. They got, alarm went off, cops called in, Toby comes in, arrests Johnny. Spencer's flipping out. Mm-hmm. You know, do you think Spencer and Toby are going to last through this?
No. I don't see them lasting at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's been kind of rough. They've been going through a whole lot this season. So You're just bobbing up and down over there.
Oh, I was looking up what he said. He said, "She me creedy," or whatever it is.
Okay.
And it translates roughly into "who loves believes."
Oh. So if Toby understood that, then that I could kind of see how Toby would get a little upset at that.
Yeah, it's bouncing between "who loves believes" and "she loves you and believes." Things like that. Something about love and believing.
Yeah, I mean, I could see where Toby could kind of take that the wrong way. Especially if he doesn't completely know Italian and just could pick out little words here and there.
Right.
So, I mean, does Spencer know Italian?
I think she does.
Does she? I don't know. I don't think we have any evidence of that.
We don't. We don't know anything really about who knows what languages.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna say no. She doesn't understand Italian and doesn't see why. Toby got really offensive, but if Johnny's been doing research too, he may know Toby knows Italian and, said that intentionally.
Right.
So.
Who knows?
Yeah. But, Johnny and Spencer had a kiss this episode.
Yeah.
So, what do you think's gonna go on with them?
It's not like you couldn't see it coming.
No, definitely. You saw the ladder fall, the catch. We've seen little things, back and forth. But what do you see coming out of this?
Honestly, I like Johnny better than I like Toby.
Really?
But I still think there's something with Johnny. Because I'm still going off of that thing that I showed you where it looks like he was in that season 1 episode.
The NAT club. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still going off that Johnny's part of NAT.
He very well could be. He very well could be.
I mean, I almost think Talia has something to do with it, too.
See, that's the thing, is they bring in all these characters now, and you're instantly suspicious of them, but they've never been here. Like, Johnny I can understand, because if he was the guy that was in season 1, then that's a clue. He's been there from the beginning.
Right.
But Talia, there's no way. She wasn't there. She could be someone's assistant, and just, they wrote her in. Kind of thing, but Johnny legit very well could have been there.
Right.
That's the thing. So, then we have the one thing from A that we do know that A was involved in this episode was the beauty pageant.
Yep.
So, Caleb comes in, Hannah's training for the thing, and Caleb comes in and been like, "Oh, look who's in the pageant." And it turns out to be Hannah's stepsister, Kate.
Yep.
So now Hannah tries really hard. She,
Too hard.
Yeah, she gets the coach in there. They're learning, Hannah and Emily are learning the dance moves. Emily was fantastic.
She is.
I did not realize, Hannah was good too. She was.
She was until she kind of went off on her own.
Yeah, you could tell the two of them probably have some bit of dance experience. Emily, for sure, the actress that plays Emily. But Hannah seemed to be like, just a half step behind the entire time. Which, if she really does know how to dance, that's great acting. She did that perfectly. I'm sure she knows to a degree. I mean, I couldn't even come close to what she was doing.
Yeah, it's not... I did dance, that kind of dance, too, for most of my life. From, 3 to 17, and it's not something you can just walk into and pick up like that.
Right. Yeah. And, so Hannah went a little off-book, and she kept gaining, all these rage memories of Kate, and just went harder and faster, stronger, like a Daft Punk song.
Some of that crap she was doing, though, was, as the coach said, very revealing.
Yeah. The coach starts going off. Hannah gets really upset. She leaves. She goes stand in the hallway. The coach is like, "Yeah, but Emily, you're good. You're good enough to be pageant material." So then Emily is like, I told the coach off. Hannah had walked away at that point. But Emily now wants to enter the pageant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she wants to win it for Hannah.
Yeah.
And then they find out that A had put Kate's name on the list, and she's
Yep.
actually not going to be there, so Hannah got all worked up for nothing. She ruined her chances for absolutely nothing. So.
Did you think the coach was part of that plan?
No, I think the coach is just a dick. She was a dick. Because I know a lot of the people like that. So
Yeah.
that seemed like a very genuine reaction out of her.
Mm.
And Hannah was not pageant material. You could tell. Like, she couldn't answer any of the questions. And Hannah's supposed to be really smart, you know. She couldn't answer any of those questions. She didn't, have an answer for anything. Not one answer.
She wanted it, but not for the right reasons.
Right. Exactly. So, alright, so then we had the Andrew and Mike kind of thing. We see Mike climbing up a tree, dropping off some package in there, supposedly what we think is a drop-off for somebody, which turns out not to be the case.
I love this twist. I loved it.
This was amazing. And Andrew meets up with Arya, tells him where everything Arya goes. She goes to find herself. Mike all of a sudden finds her. She finds the blood, right? She thinks it's her blood. She starts screaming at Mike. Mike asks for it back. Please don't, blah, blah, blah. She drops it, shatters it, and runs off. She runs.
I'm going to stop you right there. I really do think that blood on the tree, they've been scouring those woods behind Mona's house for episodes and episodes and episodes. Do you think that's going to come up again?
I don't know. Because how long is blood going to last out in the woods like that? All it takes is one good rain, and that's
all it takes
gone.
is one good position to A to see that fell, and one good tip off.
That's true too, but what would A's gain in that be?
The broken glass vial has fingerprints on it from both Mike and Arya.
I don't know. Yeah, so. But, so then after that we had, so Arya ran home. She went in and, started screaming for her father. Mike runs in. Let me stop you, stop. Let me explain. I'll explain everything. All of a sudden, Mike is so willing to explain. Mm-hmm. He was not leading up to this. Arya tried to talk to him. He didn't want to hear it.
Mike finally reached that breaking point.
Yeah. So now we get the big twist. This huge twist. The
big twist.
This, my jaw hit the floor.
I actually had to rewind it and rewatch that part because I was just like, what?
Yeah. So we find out Mona had been drawing her own blood for quite some time. She had a mini fridge in her room. She had the whole, the rubber rope, the tube, whatever, for the blood. She had syringes. She had vials of blood. She was saving enough blood to paint her house.
Yep.
So her plan all along was to fake her own death.
Yep. And to make it look like Allison did it.
Right. So frame Allison, put Allison in jail. So far, that right there has all gone according to plan.
Yep.
The one flaw in this is we saw Mona's body in the trunk.
I think it was a twin.
Right. Very well could be a twin. Or it could have been some kind of paralytic, kind of like a some kind of toxin, whatever. Something that injected that put her out for a time being so that it looked legit on the cameras. Because we did know Mona had the cameras set up. So if they injected her with that, and then used that, dragged her out of the house, and then put her in the trunk, closed it, transported her somewhere, and then, she's still alive. That's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Because her body still hasn't been found. That's the other thing.
Right.
Her
And
body has not been found.
told us what's in the barrel.
Right. We don't know what's in the barrel still. It's been 3 episodes now, 3 or 4 since they found the barrel. It's been 2 since they opened it. Mm-hmm.
And the blood that was next to the barrel was Allison's.
Yep. Well, for all we know, that could have been a plant. It more than likely was, because nothing in this show is what it seems. So what do you think? Do you think Mona's still alive?
I want her to be. I do, but there was a lot going on saying on like the writers and Marlene King and everybody was saying Mona is dead. She's not coming back. But they've lied to us before.
They have. That's why the show is called Pretty Little Liars.
So, I mean, I would love for Mona to come back.
Yep. What was the post-credit scene? We saw someone going into Mike's room.
Mm-hmm. It was A was going into Mike's room. They kind of looked around a little bit, went into his gym bag. And then they went over to his weight set and pulled out a wrench.
They started lifting some weights, curling.
Lifted a little weights, tested them out, put them down, and then pulled out the wrench. Obviously, A is meaning to sabotage the weight set. Probably aiming to hurt Mike. I found this scene really, really funny because in the very beginning, when they were in Mike's room, Hannah went to the weight set and was messing with it and said, "This is a really nice weight set. How much was it?" And that's when the girl shut her down and said, "We're not shopping." But Hannah was hanging around that weight set a little bit.
She was. So now, what if, because I want Hannah to be A.
I do too. I really do.
But what if Caleb's been helping her this whole time too? Because
I would love it. I would.
That looked like a guy. That did not look like a female body playing with the weight set. That looked like a guy. Here's
one more thing that I heard, and I don't know if I put it down there or not. But one thing that I heard was that when they listened to the tape for Bethany, and she said that she had a way of manipulating men. I want you to look at Arya's manipulation skills over Andrew.
She's pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Very subtle, but pretty good at it.
Yes. So, I mean, Arya and Hannah out of all the liars are like the top 2 choices. But I really do want it to be Hannah.
Yeah. So you were telling me some of these clues that were put in the episode. One of which was in the tutoring scene. Andrew is attempting to teach Arya about the trial of the century, aka the prosecution of Harry Kendall Thaw, for the murder of Sanford White, his wife's lover, who was shot dead on the roof of Madison Square Garden. Thaw had a history of mental illness from a young age, including stints at some mental institutions. His darker deeds were covered up by his wealthy family. He was eventually found out not guilty of the murder by reason of insanity. And this kind of hints at a possible clue here between Allison and a twin.
Or any other character in a twin, really.
Yeah, for, the same kind of behavior here. And A did shoot Ezra, on the roof in a New York City building. And with Thaw's history of mental illness and cover-ups, it really kind of shows this common thread in the whole twin theory.
It really does. And I mean, we've had long periods of time where we spent a lot of time between a mental institute and Rosewood. I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, I've noticed in this show you can't overlook anything that they do.
Yeah.
Even these little things.
Even the little things like the weights that they mentioned this episode,
Right.
you know, all of a sudden, you know, all out of nowhere, Mike's kind of become this workout fiend.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's like, what is the point of this? Like, was the whole point of this just to sabotage him with the weights? Is that why they're writing it in?
Right.
It seems that way, you know, but what is Mike's intention out of this, you know? 'Cause
Right.
He's under the assumption that Mona did fake her death.
Mm-hmm.
But he thinks now it's been so long, she hasn't contacted him like she was supposed to.
Right. Hasn't been at any of the meeting points.
Yeah. So is she alive? Isn't she alive? He thinks she's dead at this point now.
Yeah. He's finally just giving up.
But I think something happened where they were like, don't talk to him. Make it seem real. Because if you talk to him and somebody finds out, you know, then they're going to believe it. But if Mike thinks you're dead, then you'll really be dead to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what happened. I think she intentionally has to stay away from him to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I firmly believe Mona's still alive, and I think we're gonna get like this flashback kind of episode, you know, going over that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we mentioned A with the mural. Do you think A did that?
Again, I'm not sure. I mean, it was a lot of work for something that might not have paid off. You know, there was no, I mean, it was a 50-50 chance that Johnny and Spencer would go and break in and try to steal it.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't a for sure, oh, they will do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless Johnny went and took them and gave them to the guy and set it up for Spence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. There was the flashback with Mona. We see Mona on the phone with Leslie, her friend Leslie, and they're having some, you know, conversation on the phone. Mona says, "When did he get the axe?" Do you think this is A talk, or do you think this is just girl talk?
It's hard because we haven't ever heard these names before, and this is a whole new life of Mona's that we don't know about. You know, we never knew about Leslie or anything like that. Like, this is definitely something we need more info on, and I really hope that Leslie...
Is Leslie one of the girls from the other school or whatever?
She's the one that came in the other episode that had the book that Mike flipped out
yes,
at.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. But then, you know, when Mona's going through and explaining things, she says to Mike, I have to earn A's trust. I have to commit to this 100%. So I further believe that that's more reason that she's actually alive. She has to commit 100%. She can't commit 99% and have that 1% go and talk to Mike. She has to commit to this. So...
Right. I think if she is alive, she knew that she would have to do that. That's why she gave Mike so much to hold on to. And that because she told Mike what she knew he needed to hear to make him let her go.
Yeah. Yep. The other theory kind of going around is possibly it could possibly be Paige that was messing around with Mike's weight set.
Yep.
Because she's
Somebody
athletic, she knows her way
history.
around. Yeah. I don't necessarily think it was Paige. Paige seemed to really despise Allison.
Yeah.
But that's even more reason, because if Paige is A, or involved in the A team, and Allison actually is not, if Allison's been telling the truth the whole time, then that kind of would be a rivalry. So, I mean, I could kind of see Paige, but I'm going to lean toward no. I don't think Paige is overly involved in this.
Right.
I think she's just a red herring. But the
big news.
The big news is the promos. For all the episodes are claiming now in 4 or 5 weeks now for the big finale, we're going to get the reveal of A. 100%.
Yep.
Well, they say that we're going to get the reveal of A, but they've done things like this before. They've told us Toby's on Team A, and then he wasn't. And
they are telling us that we are being revealed Big A.
Right.
I
think they're going to pull the wool over our eyes again.
I was in shock.
Yeah, no, me too.
I was in complete shock because...
This is kind of the moment we've all been waiting for.
Right, and they said that we'd have it by season 7.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not even out of season 5 yet. They're saying they're going to give it to us already. That's going to be 2 whole seasons that we have where we know who A is.
Right. The way they can get away with this is revealing it to us, not to the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of playing around for a half season with that.
Right.
Have the girls figure out during like the mid-season finale. And then the rest of the season is them dealing with that, but also trying to figure out who A's helpers are. And that could kind of go on.
Kind of like what they did with Toby.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, when Toby turned around and we saw it was Toby, but the girls didn't.
Yeah. Yep, so next week's episode is called Bloody Hell. And in it, equipped with their new information about Mona, the liars decide they need to speak to Allison. But once the truth is out there, Arya quickly learns that Mike's involvement with Mona and his new revelation could have serious repercussions for her family. Determined to keep Mike safe and get out of jail, the liars intensify their search for information on A. Meanwhile, Spencer heads to London for an important college interview, and Allison looks to someone surprising for help with her murder trial. I think something's going to happen with Spencer in London involving A, which is going to show the grand scheme of A's reach.
I'm hoping that she goes to look for Melissa and can't find her.
That'll be interesting, too.
I really do. Now, I have already heard that there is 2 special guest stars, or 2 special characters for this next week's episode. One, I think they said, was a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And another is a friend of Melissa's and Ren's that lives in London.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so outside of that, we had the funny moment of the episode. was the Hannah-ism. I love Hannah-isms.
Loved it.
Why don't you go ahead, tell the line.
Okay. I forget who she was talking to, and I forget what she was talking about. But all she said was, she makes you feel like the girl at fat camp who got caught eating a tube of toothpaste. And then, what? It was minty.
Yeah, I believe it was to Emily during the dance routine. So, yeah, that was clearly.
I don't remember when. It was one of those moments where you just look at her and shake her head.
It was clearly the best line of the episode, and it's right up there with some of Hannah's other gazebo and geese in a row and ducks in a row, whatever.
Yeah,
it's right up there with all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, these next few episodes, they're gonna be rough.
They are.
Not only for all the characters involved, but for us, because we have to wait. We've been waiting 5 seasons now, and
this is 5 years.
We have to wait 5 more episodes, for it to all come down, and these are going to be the longest 5 episodes in the history of this show.
They are. Now, I am probably within the next couple of days going to start rewatching the entire show from number 1. It's something that you and I have talked about trying to do.
Yeah, I've watched a majority of the first season again.
Yeah.
So
it's we're talking about sitting down and watching all of it. I'm hoping to get it done, like a binge watch, since I'm not really doing anything else right now.
Yeah.
And trying to piece things together before that episode.
Excellent. Yeah, so we'll get back to you on that. Heather, where can the people find you?
Over the interwebs at Pernixia. Backwards and forwards.
Backwards and forwards. You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. You can also find us on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, and YouTube /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Until next week, see you guys later. Where's the lacrosse stick?
No, you know what I've been wondering? When is the secret box going to come back in?
When is the lacrosse stick going to come back in? It's buried in the secret box. Maybe the lacrosse stick is in the barrel.
When's the puppy going to be back?
The puppy's in the barrel with the lacrosse stick and kickboxing
with
dude.
The puppy. Yep. We figured it out.
Boom.